Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video is actually absolutely unplanned. I sat down to practice for my exam that is today in pediatric dentistry. He's my typodont. And I thought I would pull out my camera and actually show you how I practice because A, it's gonna be some study inspiration for you guys, for people who are prepping for bench test, and I can show you the work of my micromotor in action, which I have never done before. So I just wanted to show you how it works, and I want to talk about a little bit about pediatric dentistry in case you're interested in that, in different programs, because today's exam is practical exam in prepping pedo teeth. And the difference in courses is I've done that in Oklahoma. We had a pediatric course in Oklahoma and it was very intense. The course was very difficult because we had a professor who thought that the speed is pretty much the only thing that's important in pediatric dentistry, because the kid is not gonna wait for you. He's gonna wiggle his little arms and not gonna let you do any dentistry on him, which he's pretty much right. But the point was that his classes were like, he would have a timer and he would walk around the lab screaming at us, come on, time's running out. And we would have to prep 4 teeth with a rubber dam, place the rubber dam, prep the tooth, fill the tooth in each quadrant. So that was very, very intense. The program in BU is very different. It's much more chillaxed. We have all the time in the world to practice and prep, and the weird thing that I personally find a little weird is that the models are not mounted. The exam is going to be benchtop, and this is exactly why I'm using my micromotor. If it was mounted, I would probably use my big compressor, but I'm just trying to practice really quickly today because I have to be in my car driving to school in 2 hours. So, I don't know which teeth and what exactly we're gonna have to do on the exam because, you know, it's a surprise, as it is. But I know for a fact there's not gonna be any rubber dams, there's not gonna be any water or any kind of problems like that. There probably is gonna be a stainless steel crown prep and a class 2 prep on any tooth possible. So, I'm gonna practice that on as many teeth as I have left because they didn't provide us with too many teeth. I don't have much alive teeth, but we're gonna try. The technique of prepping is also a little different in Oklahoma and BU, and I actually probably agree a little more with Oklahoma's technique, because in Oklahoma you would make a wide box for the class 2 prep because the contact on pedo teeth is large. They're flatter contact, so you have to make a wider box. In BU, it's not the case. They choose to make a very, very tiny box for like to basically barely fit your amalgam packer. So I don't know which one who's right. I don't think anybody is. I think both are correct, but it's just a little different for me. I'm a little getting used to, and I did ruin a couple teeth whilst practicing. So right now I would like to show you and adjust the angle of my camera so I can show you the setup of micromotor. Okay, so now you can see my desk a little better, and I hope we're in focus because I can't really see what I'm doing. But this is the micromotor, and this are my hand pieces, which are very nice B&R hand pieces from Oklahoma, and I already broke one of them using them on the micromotor, which makes me cry, honestly, but I don't think I'm gonna be prepping for a long time today, so I'm actually gonna use the nice handpiece because I don't care enough about prepping now to actually buy a like cheapy electric handpiece for this micromotor, so I'm gonna be using my good one. But honestly, I don't actually know where else I will use them, so it doesn't really matter to me if they break. I don't know if I can sell them. I'm not really sure what to do with them because they're very brand specific. We're using different micromotors in BU, so I don't really know what I have to do. So here, right now, you can see over here, there's a little light over here. This is 1:1. It says 1:1 over here. I don't know if you can see this over here. So we need to adjust this to 1:5 because this is a high speed over here. Now it says 1:5. I don't know, usually I try to use my handpiece on a smaller speed, but I don't remember which one is exactly good for the handpiece, so I will just kind of adjust it as I go and see if the speed is a little too slow for me. I can adjust it, and that's pretty much it. That's ready to go. I'm going to be using just one burr, and it's 330 burr, which is perfect for pediatrics. You don't need any other burrs aside of the stainless steel crown, but I don't really care about the stainless steel crown prep too much because I did a pretty good job on that, so I'm not worried about it. It's pretty easy. You can see on this typodont, this is my BU typodont, and these are my Oklahoma typodonts. Oklahoma typodont does not have much alive space because we would do a lot of fillings here, and this is pretty much everything we did on BU typodonts. We did class 2 preps, and we put these are T-bends, and we put a stainless steel crown, which is good, but that is everything. We only had 2 classes, and the third one is the exam. So in Oklahoma we had the entire rotation, but the plus of pediatric dentistry in BU, which I actually really enjoy, is the fact that we have ortho, and we did not have any ortho in Oklahoma at all, like whatsoever. And I'm actually happy that we have ortho and wire bending in BU, because I think it's you need to know ortho. It's important. You need to know everything, and excluding the whole class is not very smart. So if you're interested in ortho, Oklahoma is not going to be a program for you. So let us see what we can prep here. What we have that's alive. We have, I don't know what number. I'm not good with numbers just yet. A, B. We have tooth B on the mesial, and I think we're going to start with that because tooth B, like the premolars, is not my friend. So let's try to turn on the micromotor. It turns on by pressing this button over here and holding it. See, now it's just working. The problem with this, I'm gonna turn it off. The problem with this is that it never stops. So like when you press the button, the foot pedal on regular, units, it stops. And this works continuously, which makes me think this is what burns handpieces, and this is why they break a lot using the micromotor. But for the purposes, we're just gonna grin and bear it and just gonna do it. I don't have the light on my loops, so it's gonna be interesting because I can barely see anything. Thank God the micromotor has the light. So let's just start. I'm kind of playing with the angles, and I wonder if you can see it. Not particularly, but we're just gonna go with this. Let's start. So I'm gonna start my prep on the middle of the occlusal. That's where I usually go. It's a little too slow for me, so I'm gonna adjust the speed. A little better. Yeah, but never forget that you're not in the lab and blow in the patient's mouth. That's a rookie mistake. But actually, funny enough, people do it. Finding faster speed. Drop the box, and because I'm kind of cheating a little bit because there's no adjacent tooth, pretty much, I can just expand the box just like that. The speed isn't really great. I think we need to go all the way up to 10, but I already feel my handpiece heat up, which is not a good sign. This is why you have to buy the cheapy ones and be prepared that some of them will be ruined. Okay, this isn't working out for me very well, but this is why we practice, isn't it? I see that I dropped the box way too early. And so the box is gonna be pretty big. So the hardest thing for me is to round the pulpal angle. There should be no flaring, but I think the box is actually turning out pretty good. So this is the tooth I prepped, and I actually don't know what we can see. I'm practicing with this too, because I want to film some bench test video in the future, and this is a good practice for me to see if this camera actually can do that. So here is the tooth that I prepped, and it's not the ideal prep, but this is not what I was trying to achieve. I just tried to practicing dropping the box, and I think the box turned out pretty decent. So what's difficult with this handpiece is that it's much more difficult to control than a handpiece in the lab because the speed is lagging. You can adjust the speed. I think you can bump the speed up as high as you want, but it really heats up the handpiece, so it's better to keep the speed at lower angle. So I left the prep. My prep turned out to be a little too wide and a little too shallow. I don't care about the occlusal side of the prep. I only cared about the box, and the box turned out decent. That is fine for me. But basically, this is what you can prep. The tooth is what this goal of the micromotor is. So the tooth is prepped. I cannot stress enough the importance of the headlight on the loops and the cheapy creepy handpiece for this micromotor, because it is gonna burn your handpiece a lot. You will have multiple of this. So these are my loops, and I'm sorry for the lighting. As I said, it's a little impromptu video, but these are my Q optic loops. I cannot, this is 3.5 and I cannot go any lower. My school provided me with 2.5s and I cannot use them because it's tiny for me. I'm used to these ones. They have a headlight, but I need to connect it. I never use the headlight, so it's very rare for me to actually connect it. When I'm out of school, and I definitely won't practice at home anymore, I'm just gonna screw this thing off. I do not need it. That's pretty much, I will practice more. I will not film it because otherwise this video is gonna be way too long, but I'm gonna show you the outcome after I'm done. I will show you all the teeth I prepped. Alright you guys, so I'm done prepping and I want to show you what I did. I went ahead actually and prepped some teeth on my big compressor just because I was really worried about my expensive handpiece and I did not want to ruin it, and it was getting really hot. So basically the main gist of the video today, make sure on eBay to find cheap, not reusable, but cheaper handpieces. They're not, I mean, cheap, it doesn't mean 20 bucks. I don't think you will find anything like that. But be sure that during your time for a bench test prep, you will use at least 2 or 3 hand pieces because you don't oil them, because this machine is not really made for them. So this is more like dental technician machine. So they do break. I do caution you about that. So let me show you my preps. Let me adjust the angle just so we can see them better. So this prep is the one that I made with Micromotor. Actually, this one is from school, so don't pay attention to this. This is stainless steel over here. So you can see that this prep is a little shallow. It definitely is not burned. So that's a good thing about Micromotor. And you can see on my other preps over here that I made with my compressor, it burned. So I do have questions asked sometimes if my Micromotor burns teeth, and Micromotor doesn't actually. It's not a problem with Micromotor. It is a problem with the large compressor. But it's for, should you worry about it for the practice purposes, for the bench test? No, it does not really matter to me at all. So it's much harder to prep the teeth on the Micromotor because A, you can never achieve the smoothness you want because, well, it's actually kind of hard to control your handpiece with it, and it's never going to be as smooth as you can make it with the compressor and air-driven handpiece because it's just not as fast. It's also really hard to prep because there's no air blowing out of the handpiece. The speed of it is not just as quick. So whenever you prep, you have this like dust creating, and you can't see what you're prepping until you actually like go and blow off the dust, which is not really practical to do with the patient. Never blow on your patient. That actually was a question of one of my exams. Should you blow on the patient? Never forget that you're not in the lab. So here's my prep. It's not perfect, but I probably could make it perfect, but it wasn't the goal of my exercise today. And this was made with the Micromotor, and I want to show you the preps that I made with the handpiece, with the air-driven handpiece. And I don't remember actually what order I did them in. And I practiced some slot preps over here because slot prep I actually find pretty difficult because we don't really do them a lot in adult dentistry or practice normally. But you can see over here that there are significant burn marks, especially like here and here. And this was done with the air-driven handpiece on my large compressor unit. So these are actually pretty good. I don't remember if this one was made in school. I think one of them was made in school, so don't pay attention to these. But you can see in Oklahoma we actually did and fill the teeth. This is a huge mistake for pedo teeth. You should never do any dovetails. But which actually was pretty funny because in Oklahoma they kept telling us never do dovetails, never do dovetails. And I came to BU and they were like, how about a dovetail? I'm like, okay, I guess the power has shifted, so I will just follow the directions and I will never question them. So like, sure, let's put like 10 dovetails. I love that. Anyway, so this is the slot prep. I did a couple slot preps over here. I think this one's a really good one if I bite off this angles over here with the enamel hatchet. I think it sounds like animal when I say enamel.
but that's not what I meant. Anyway, but I didn't want to go and look for my hatchet, so I didn't. These are a little rounded. They shouldn't be, but I really like this prep over here. So over here, I really like how this turned out because this is a rounded internal wall, and this is what you're trying to achieve. This one's more flat, which is also clinically acceptable, but you should never do a concave wall. It should definitely be convex. And this one turned out good. Again, if I bit off these bits with the hatchet, it would be so much better, but overall I think it's a pretty good prep. Over here, I lost control of my burr because I actually had to prep on my knee, on bench top, because now that we practice so much on mounted mannequins, it's actually getting more difficult to prep on a bench top because you're not used to it. You don't know where to put, your bevel, where to put your hand to control it better. So yeah, it's actually pretty difficult. This is a prep that I did also today. This one on the Mauler, and I also like the internal wall of this prep, even though I think the box could be a little wider over here. This is also a slot prep that I did. Over here, I want to show you the stainless steel crown. This video is like for pedo people, any pediatricians around. But anyway, this is the crown that I did, and I think it's pretty good, but I didn't end up using it to place my stainless steel crown. I used this one to place my stainless steel crown. I also think it looked even better, aside of the fact that I prepped the buckle a little bit more than I wanted to. So yeah, these are all my pedo teeth. This is what I learned in the course of pediatric dentistry.
Alright, you guys, so this is pretty much all that I wanted to show you today. The main purpose of this video was to show you how the micromotor operates. I hope you saw that. I hope it was interesting for you. I'm sorry if you're not interested in pediatric dentistry. That's okay. Disregard that part, I guess. But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go to school in like half an hour. I have this exam and a meeting with my practice leaders. I will tell you more about my starting clinics soon, because I did start clinics. I have some patients and I have a lot to talk about and discuss in that regard. Also, I want to thank you guys for watching, and please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. I would be very happy, and it would actually help my channel a lot. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.